Obasi, and I'm here to teach you English, okay? Yes, you are welcome to an English class. This is an English class, and today we'll be handling something very interesting. I promise you very interesting, something very relevant, you know, in your daily speaking and your daily writing, all right? So we want to look at regular verbs and irregular verbs, okay? We remember that verbs are action words or words that express states of being, okay? So we remember that words such as play, you know, run, you know, and all of that. Those are verbs, all right? But now we want to look at regular and irregular verbs and how to form the past tense and past participle forms, all right? That's very, very important, okay? So let's now start with the regular verbs. What are regular verbs? Regular verbs are verbs that have a regular pattern in forming their past tense and past participle forms, all right? They have a regular pattern. What's this regular pattern? You add an ed to the verb to have its past tense and its past participle form. So that's the regular pattern we're talking about. So a good example of a regular verb is play. Okay? So play. Now how do you form the past tense of play? You say played. You add ed. Am I right? Then you say the past participle too is played. So play, played, played. Present tense, past tense, past participle. Play, played, played. So you add an ed, all right? Just that, all right? So all verbs that follow that pattern are called regular verbs. So another good example will be watch. Watch, watched, watched. You add an ed, all right? Another good example will be like change. I'm bringing in change because there's already an e at the end of change. So because there's an e, then we only add a d. So the regular patterns could also include just ed or just a d. Okay, like changed. Okay, changed. You don't add an ed, you just add a d. All right. So let's look at a few examples of regular verbs. All right. So we say play because we add ed. We have watch. Okay, and we also have change. Now let's go over to irregular verbs so that we can contrast it. What are irregular verbs? Irregular verbs are verbs that have an irregular way of having the past tense forms and the past participle forms. You do not add eds, you do not add an ed, okay, to regular verb to form its pattern, okay, that's its past tense and past participle forms. So a good example would be dig. All right, so do we say dig, digged, digged? Of course we don't say that. We say dig, exactly, dug, dug. So you see that there's a difference in forming the past tense and the past participle form. Okay, another irregular verb is come. Very simple, come. We say come, come, come. Of course, we don't say that. We say come, came, and come again. Wow. All right? We say run. Run, past tense. Ran, past participle. Run again. Again. You see? So these are good examples of irregular verbs. All right? So take note that regular verbs have a regular pattern, which is to add an ed or just a d to have the past tense and the past participle. While irregular verbs have different other forms. For instance, okay, let's say, for instance, they change the vowel. They change the vowel. For instance, dig. The vowel a is changed to up. So dig, dug, dug. Okay? So if we say, when we now said run, we now say run, ran, run. Okay? So we change the vowel. Okay? Another example would be like eat. Okay? Eat. Ate. Eaten. All right? So those are irregular patterns, okay? Some of them just retain the present tense form for the past tense and the past participle. We'll be looking more at that. But a good example of that is, for instance, spread. For instance, it said stay at home if you contracted the coronavirus. Stay at home so that you do not spread the virus. Okay, so spread, past tense will be spread. Past participle will be spread. You don't say spread it, okay? Another one will be hit. You don't say hit, hitted, hitted. So just say hit, hit, and hit. All right? Now let me just give you a few examples of regular verbs, because you see, essentially this lesson is important because you need to use them in sentences. All right? So when you need to use them in sentences, that's when you realize that it's a bit tricky. Okay, it's a bit tricky. So let's just take a few examples of regular verbs. All right? So we started with play. When we said watch, we say we can add look. So play, played, played. Look, looked, looked. Watch, watched, watched. Turn, turned, turned. Change, changed, changed. All right? So we just have, you can list as many as you want, all right? But let's spend some time using them in sentences so that you can appreciate. Okay, so let's use stop, for instance. Stop, stop, stop. So present tense. He stops the clock every morning. I don't know how he does it, but he stops the clock every morning. Now you watch that we added an S to the stop because of the singular subject, he, okay? So he stops the clock every morning. That's an example of present tense, all right? Now, past tense, he stopped the clock this morning. He stopped the clock this morning, okay? Now, past participle, he has stopped the clock already. He has stopped the clock already. So when you are using the past participle in a sentence, you bring in the auxiliary verb has or have, or maybe is, okay? But mostly have or has, right? When you use that, you see that the past participle form is what is used, so he has stopped the clock already. Now let's try and switch to regular verbs and just see. Let's use dig, okay? Let's use dig. Just take note, just watch it, right? Now, he digs the well, or he digs a well every month. So strong, he digs a well every month. He digs a well every month. Last month, no. Past participle, he has dug a well last month. Or last month, or he has dug a well already. So basically, we did that. Yeah. He has dug a well already. Okay? Now, those are examples, sentence examples. Now let's just look, let's spend more time on irregular verbs. I'm sure that's where, some people may have issues. So let's have a few irregular verbs, okay? So, sink. What will be the past tense of sink? Sink, not sink, sinked, okay? So sink, sank, sunk, correct? Just like, okay? So sink, sank, sunk. We have another one, choose. Choose, chose, chosen. Choose, chose, chosen. So, choose, C-H-O-O-S-E. Chose, C-H-O-S-E. Chosen, C-H-O-S-E-N. Choose, chose, chosen. All right? That's past tense, past participle. Now we have lie. Now we have two lies, okay? One lie is actually regular. That's to tell, to be false. That's lie. That's regular. So you say lie, lied, lied. I lie every time. I lied yesterday. I have lied already this month. Okay? But let's look at lie. To place yourself in a horizontal position and relax. Okay? So lie, past tense. Is it lied? No. Past tense of lie. To place yourself on a horizontal position or in a horizontal position. Lie, past tense is. Let me use sentence example. For instance, I lie in bed every morning. Past tense. I lay in bed yesterday. I lay in bed yesterday. That's the past tense. Now, what's the past participle? I have lain in bed already. So I'm up now for work. I have lain. So lie, lay, lain. Take note of that. Have you taken note? So the past tense of lie, lain. The past participle is lain. L-A-I-N. So now we have cut. Let's go to cut. 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 Past tense. Cut. Past participle. Cut. All right. Burst. Past tense. Burst. Past participle. Burst. All right. So sentence examples so that we can wrap this up. For instance, he cut himself. He cuts himself with a knife every time he cooks. He cuts himself with a knife every time he cooks. Okay. He cut himself yesterday with a knife. All right. He cut himself yesterday with a knife. And he has already cut himself with a knife this morning. All right. So the boy is so careless with knives, so don't allow him to go into the kitchen. So sentence example with burst. For instance, the ball bursts every time we play it in the rain. Yesterday, the ball burst while we were playing in the rain. The ball has already burst. Have you seen that? So when you use them in sentence examples, you have to take note. Now for your assignment, I'll give you just a few words for you to form the past tense and past participle. And then what you do is you use them in sentences so that when next we meet, I'll be taking that. So we have get, hide, prove, and cast.
Begin.
Right? Okay, I take it again. Get. So you tell me the past tense and the past participle of get. Hide. Tell me the past tense and past participle of hide. Prove. Tell me the past tense and past participle of prove. And cast. C-A-S-T. Tell me the past tense. So take note. These are the words I want you to form past tense and past participles with, and also use them in sentences. All right, just like I've been doing. Okay, so first word, get. So let me know the past tense and past participle of get and hide. Let me know the past tense and past participle of hide. Let me also have the past tense and past participle of prove. P-R-O-V-E. Prove. Okay. Then finally, cast. C-A-S-T. Oh, let me add this broadcast. Okay. So cast and then broadcast. All right. So give me the past tense and past participles and use them in sentences. All right. So till I come your way again, my name is Michael Clement Bassi. I hope you learned something new today. Bye bye.